had asked, and I'm going to throw this out to our panel, how do we show our peers that the current large government is a hindrance for them?
Well, I think honestly, and this is something I've been writing about for a long time, it's a chapter in a book, it's basically you need to appeal to their selfish nature. When it comes to liberals who are young, there are two different kinds of liberals. There's the American idiots, people who have taken the default political status. We've talked about them. And then there's the modern leftists, those who actually pull the strings and manipulate the systems. The James Camerons, the people, well, I was going to say a network anchor, I won't say. People who are biased by omission, by what they choose not to cover. People who proactively manipulate those and keep them in the dark. The way to appeal to them is like this gentleman here wearing the Liberty University shirt. By the way, they owe me money. Is, like you said, it's feel-good liberal. So what feels good really about it is me, me, me. It's, well, the government's going to give me free schooling. Well, the government's going to give me free health care. When you tell them the government's going to foot you with the bill, whoa, 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 hold your horses. If you appeal to their selfish nature first, then as they have children, as they grow up, as they become actual adults, they tend to become more conservative naturally.
And I want to make a point, too, that one of the ways to do that is, you know, here we have new media. We are the penny press. We are the new penny presses. Or you could even take it back further. We are the committees of correspondence back in the revolutionary days, which knitted together all of the different Sons of Liberty, all of the different original Tea Party groups. Because everybody knows there were a ton of Tea Parties, not just Boston Harbor. That was famous because, you know, not everybody had a Sam Adams back in their city. And Sam Adams had a sizable mouth. But we have citizens that can go out there. Anybody with a camera can go out there and do investigative journalism. Nobody has the patent on that. And I think a lot of people understood how big government was when Hannah and James did their Acorn expose. And that's when there were a lot of people who were converted by that video. I mean, I've received emails and and people say, wow, I didn't realize how deep and how corrupt this was until I saw what Hannah and James did.
Yeah, and, you know, the sad thing was for over 30 years, Acorn had operated illegally. People had been investigating them, congressional investigator, private investigator, state investigations into this organization since their foundation. And no one could move the ball forward because it appeared as if the conservatives and the Republicans were just bashing poor people when they would go against Acorn. What our videos did was show that the very people that are claiming to help Acorn were actually robbing them and willing and able to facilitate underage prostitution. And so what that did was it transcended the traditional media, it broke over the 50-50 political lines, and it reached the American public. It reached their on the emotional level, and it made sense to them. Because that video, in and of itself, they look back to the investigations that have been done for over 30 years. So that video was the catalyst, the straw that broke the camel's back, and it destroyed Acorn's narrative.
And one of the other ways, I think, to kind of go about this and really show people just really how big government is a hindrance. And this is something, Brandon, you and I have talked about on this show before. Ridicule.
Yeah.
And you do that very well at misfitpolitics.co.
That's one of the big things that for me has attack watch. One of the biggest things that works for me is the fact that, and this is something I had to come to understand, in order to sell to the general public, you need entertainment value. Why do you think Jon Stewart works so well and Stephen Colbert? People actually consider that real news, but they come out and actually say this is fake news, but they use comedy, entertainment, and ridicule to actually sell their message. And it's entertaining. I watch it.
It's funny.
But, yeah, it is. It's funny.
Even when they're totally wrong, it's still funny.
It is, and I laugh.
Humor makes it go down.
It's just one of those things that you have to do in order for people to wake up and see what's really going on is you have to be able to not only tell them a message, but sell it to them too. Everything boils down to sales. Because if you can't sell your message to the people or get them to listen, like this is the ADD generation and I'm its king, okay? If you cannot hold my attention for more than 2 minutes, there is no possible way that you're going to get your message out. You have to be able to entertain people as well as tell them what's going on. I loved your video because, like, you know, it's a pimp and a girl. There are people dressed up as a pimp and a hoe walking into an office and just basically, I'm laughing the entire time this has happened, no matter how sad it is. It was really interesting to watch. Attack Watch was the same way. You know, we use humor and ridicule to actually get to the issue, the core thing. You know, and we've done other videos, like the Occupy Wall Street, the Day of Rage video, where we made fun of Occupy Wall Street.
That was a riot. Are you all familiar with misfit politics and what they? You got to go. It's like it's like a smart Alex perspective of everything that this administration does.
And you know,
it's
true
a riot.
thing too, as to what you're saying, you know, it starts with conservatives stopping this, we don't want to be entertained. We want Karl Rove Jr.
Exactly.
Because you know what? I worked as a comedian. Let me tell you something, and you know this too, you know, on a different level because you work online. But I worked as a professional comedian. I still do for years, and I'm now in a position. There was a video that went online with Jon Stewart where they actually emailed my manager. I released the email publicly and was dropped for it, where they emailed my manager saying, hey, the Steven Crowder kid is young, is energetic. We really like, do you have anyone like him who's not a conservative? The problem is conservatives, as you know, don't want to pay for entertainment or comedy. They don't want to support the arts. And so people like me and Brandon are put into a position where we either have to keep our mouths shut and put bread on the table, or do it for the conservative movement just because we're in there for the movement. Well, this is how we make a living. And so conservatives who shut off TV, who shut off comedy, say, well, I just won't watch it. I'm just going to tune into Fox News and AM radio. You hurt people like me and Brandon.
Right.
You hurt the next future possible conservative Jon Stewart or Stephen Colbert, who will never get that chance. So it starts with you guys understanding the importance of culture and things like what Brandon and Hannah do.
And
right.
we will never